Well, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a 38-degree October the 7th, Monday, that is. And it's up to 49 degrees now. It's gonna be a beautiful day. It's actually supposed to get close to 80 degrees, it's supposed to be 77, 78. That's crazy. Anyway, we're gonna bust out a Monday. Boy, the Mondays seem to come around fast. Weekend, you get all excited for the weekend. Of course, you know, going down and getting the Pan America, that took up my whole day. I didn't spend much time there. It was all my prepping to leave, and it was crazy. It was like a whirlwind. Then the long ride home, taking that back road stuff. Very nice. Loving that motorcycle. All right, let's head on to work. 59 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. What's it supposed to be here?
81,
70,
I think.
Oh, 81?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my watch hasn't caught up. It says 78.
Oh.
But yeah, it's always way hotter here than what it says.
Always?
Mama?
Yes, I have.
Like I was saying at the beginning, which you weren't around, that daggum Monday has a way of coming around really fast.
I know it.
And then being obsessed with the Pan America on Saturday, that I woke up Sunday and thought it was Saturday.
Yeah, just ate that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was well worth using up a day.
Yeah.
Plus, you got a good ride. Take that nice long back road thing
that's
back.
so pretty.
But anyway, let's go in there and earn our keep.
Oh, all right.
Alrighty, dighty. So I'll see you as the day goes on.
Alrighty.
All right, love you. See you. Bye.
I love you, babe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
A beautiful 2022, 40 years. Our 1250 GSA. So, you know, the old school way of, you know, if your brake fluid looks bad, you should replace it. Don't worry about it till then. I remember being told that years and years ago. The fluid I took out of this thing, which is slightly darker than what's in there right now, and that thing just, it just blew the top. It went right to red. If that thing went to 10%, it probably, I mean, it just instantly went bang right to 4%. You got to set them in there, you know, watch, it'll go 1%, you know, and maybe 2. Just hang on there for a second. It's measuring the moisture in the brakes. That is a critical. Needs to be replaced immediately if it's 4%. Well, it was definitely more than 4%. So don't go by what the brake fluid looks like. And yeah, I flushed it really good. I just keep pummeling it through. Always end up with extra brake fluid, so I just keep it flowing through, because it's got to go through the ABS pump, which is, you know, like in front of the gas tank, because the tank's kind of flat in the front between the gas tank and the air box, and so all that's got to go through there before it makes it to the rear wheel. So it leaves here, it goes to the ABS pump and then to the rear wheel. So it's, if you read the instructions in air, it's a quantity of fluid they want pushed through it. Lots. So anyway, I gotta do the front, and there's a new software thing for this. I forget what it was called, but I think somebody attached the bulletin on there. No, I'll find it as soon as I hook up the air. But yeah, here we are. Oil, I put just a dribble or two more. She's right at the bottom, just below the little red line. That's actually pretty good right there. You want to get them hot. Don't rely on checking them cold, because oil expands when it gets hot. You want the oil level checked when it's hot. Has to go through one fan cycle before it's hot enough for you to reliably check the oil level in them. And this is a wet sump motor, so there's no hidden cavities anywhere or oil bags or anything like that. You just shut her off, let her sit for a little bit while she's hot. Let everything settle down, pour out of the heads and other little areas, and see where it's at. That's where it's at the moment. So I took the bags off of it because it's a rear diff or bevel gear service and stuff like that. All the spokes are good. You go dinging around there. Oh, have I ever shown you guys what I use to do that? It's heavy as heck. It's some old cheap spoke wrench. But I use the thick end the 8mm, and I put a blue thing in there. It was like my BMW thing, but it's heavy. So I go along, ding, 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 ding. Look for them to go thump. And if one has like a little lower tone, sometimes they're leaning on another spoke. So there's a little trick. You can lightly touch the spoke and you'll feel it's almost like a tuning fork. You'll feel it buzz on your finger. And you check all the ones that ding really. When it's a flat spoke, it will have it just thud. It's just like, tapping the style. It just makes a metal sound, but it's not a tinging sound. You don't need them too tight, but you don't want them loose. Once you get one that's loose, it just kind of starts a bad thing. But let me finish the service on this thing. We'll take her for a rip around the block. So this is the reversal. I mean, that fluid actually looked darker than the rear. And the rear just pegged this thing. So get her going, drop her in the fluid. 2%. Sit here for a second to make sure it doesn't kick up anymore. No, it's 2%. That's it. That's not critical by any means, but this interval gets a fluid flush, so it's getting flushed. What's always interesting is how it must be different temperature changes and stuff. Notice how there's actually brake fluid on top of the diaphragm. And you'll see it, even in the cap. It's just drastic changes or altitude changes. I'm not sure which. I mean, they're designed to breathe, but it's interesting how it can end up. But that fluid's kind of, I would say that's a little on the maximum side of the level there. Doesn't need to be that high because one, at that point, the thickness of the diaphragm is actually going to reach in and touch the brake fluid, which is not the end of the world. But if it's actually touching enough that it's floating on there, it's going to try to escape. And this is, it's designed to breathe. You can see the little breathing notches inside there. So it's designed to breathe. But we'll flush her all out, and then I thoroughly wash these out with water because that absolutely neutralizes brake fluid like immediately. It just washes right off. You don't have to do anything. Just run it through cold water. And I let it sit and air dry for a little bit, and then I dry them off. Don't use heat. I just use, compressed air lightly. Just blow it enough till it's absolutely dry. Let it sit a little bit more, and then put it together. Just make sure it is dry. Because, if it's still wet, what's the evil of brake fluid? It's moisture. So don't start out by putting some in it. By cleaning up stuff. And make sure that thing's dry. Do not use heat on them. Not necessary. Make sure everything's dry. What I do is I fill, I have to go to the other side here. I fill till it just goes above the little plastic part in the window. See how there's a little more of an air gap in there? Because see, that cap's gonna close down on this, and it's gotta be that thick. So you need to have that air gap in there, or enough of an air gap that this doesn't dip into the oil and literally spill it out as you're trying to put the cap on. And if you do, you need to spray, get everything sealed up, put the cap on, make sure the cap goes on nice and dry, and just mist. I've got a spray bottle down there. Again, the water just like neutralizes brake fluid. Don't leave that on anything. Make sure I got layers here covering this tank in case something spills. And then where I'm putting something wet, I have like 3 little hand towel things wrapped together so it doesn't soak through. So just be careful. Brake fluid is evil. Oh, look at that. The sticker isn't sticking all the way. I don't know what kind of adhesive that is, but the advisor must have been a little confused. That's an old, geez, that software update's what, 2 years old now. And it's bricked it. I hope he's not picking it up today. 3 hours and 41 minutes is the estimated time. I don't even know if I'm here that long, but sometimes it'll catch up and be faster. It will be a couple hours minimum. And what it is that the combi, which is the TFT display, it always hangs on that. I can show you later on, but once it gets to the program, the combi, it'll just hang on that thing forever. And when it finally completes it, then it'll say there's 1 minute left. It'll say 1 minute left for about 30 to 40 minutes. So not something you want to do while a customer's waiting. And at this point, she's blacked out. It is absolutely dumped. If you unplug this thing, it's dead. The only indication that tells you it's still talking to it is that license plate light. They did that because people, including myself, finally gave up, thought something was wrong. And I had to go, I had to leave. You know, they're going to shut the store down on me. I can't stay down here. There's motion detectors and everything else. If you wanted to stay here, you couldn't. But, yeah, it's always a fun thing. I went upstairs. I was gone for about 27 minutes. I come downstairs, and this thing was done. There's some procedures you got to do afterwards, but jeez, this guy got a tall seat or something. Man, this thing is 10 miles in the air. Ooh, and I can't see out of either one of them mirrors. Wow, this thing is tall. It's almost like a rally edition with the jacked up forks and shocks. She feels tall. Gentleman must be tall. I'm gonna have to. I apologize in advance, but I gotta be safe. Not that big of a change. So, when I went to dump the oil out of this thing, I used 2 pans. I have one at the back that I do the rear bevel gear, and then another one I do for the engine. Well, the one I do for the engine, it's got a weird thing. I pick a pan. They're pretty much the same thing. It's just a pan, but I'm weird that way. But anyway, so it still had the 3 quarts extra. Remember, I got this is out of that GS, the 2013 GS. So I dumped. You know, I had 10 quarts, filled 2 pans to 5 quarts, and then it took another 3 quarts. Well, I dumped that pan. Well, the sun's, you know, blazing right underneath the awning there, and, you know, it's bright, and even the wetness of the oil was reflecting in my eyes. And like, geez, that's bright. Well, as the oil is coming to an end, I'm draining the pan. I see metal particles. Looks like brass, like you know, plane bearings, like the Babbitt bearings. Well, the last thing that pan was used for was that GS. So I need to get these the service writers helping take a crate apart or something. I don't know, for a hole for a boat or something. And I need to get with him, and he needs to call that guy. He definitely 2 things we need to diagnose. You know, why that oil pressure switch. You know, I've used up way more time than I was allowed, so I've lost well, a good chunk of money off of this thing already. I'm not losing any more, so I'm gonna need some time for diagnosing the oil pressure switch and the fact that the horn doesn't work on it. That's normally stuff I would check because I'm almost always doing some kind of a service. But I was just diagnosing a motor. So anyway, and now I don't think we ever got a call back on whether he wants the oil and the filter changed. But if nothing else, we need to dump the oil out of that thing, and need to clean that pan so it's perfectly clean, and dump the oil. Let's see if the metal's coming out of that GS. There's I mean, nothing else I've worked on that would potentially have any issues. And you know, when you're doing the regular service too, you know, you got the drain bolt. You know, BMWs have that little, there's like the top of the drain bolt is like a cup. It holds some oil, and then the magnets in the middle. And that turn signal did not cancel. So I can usually see when things are wrong. Well, I was just loosening the plug enough to let it just kind of pour out, you know. I was just trying to get the oil down to the correct level 13 quarts later. But anyway, I suggested getting that oil and filter changed because of how rough that thing shifts, and it's which is not uncommon on those older 12, especially the first year of the 1200s, the water boxer that is. For man, this thing is crazy tall. If those motors were just kind of noisy, you know, so I didn't think nothing of it. Not any more noisy than what you typically hear them. But yeah, I need to get that oil out of there in a clean pan and see if them metal fragments come from that. I don't think anybody comes down there and borrows my pans for anything, but you know, I usually inspect for that kind of stuff when I'm doing services. You know, and you can do it just with the drain plug, literally. And then I'm, you know, immediately dumping the oil. Well, I was dumping the oil, but I was, you know, frantically emptying the pan so I could, you know, get more oil in there. I wasn't paying attention, you know. Which, with that motor, I should have probably paid more attention than any other one. But the fact is, I didn't. No Rick today, huh? These 40 years, I always loved the look of that black with the yellow accents and stuff. Has that bumblebee look to it. And he's got all kinds of little add-ons to accentuate them colors. Ooh, feels good just to sit down. So, any of you guys have any experience with the Viking Bags with their aluminum? In the Harley world, you got to call them saddlebags. They don't like you calling them panniers. You'll freak some Harley people out over that. It's funny. But anyway, the aluminum they look like panniers for a BMW. They're sold out. You couldn't get them if you wanted them, but I can't find anything on them. There's one dude that, you know, of course, you know, Viking Bags, their own, you know, gal advertising them. As cute as she may be, you're not giving me the information I'm looking for, you know. You know, do they rattle? The way they mount, it seems like they would rattle, especially if they were empty. But I don't know, you know, does it have any kind of spring load that prevents that rattling? I just don't know. And you guys, I don't know of anything else they use them on other than the Pan America. I guess I could look into BMWs and see if they use them there. Oh, only got the left mirror. Little old boxers. But yeah, I'm curious about those things. Those guys have reached out to me about 2 or 3 or maybe more times about trying some products, but you know, always had a Street Glide or Road King or whatever. I never planned on putting any bags on the Slim. I've been thinking about that, you know, if I got rid of the Road King on you know, what I would use. I was thinking that was a van. I think it's that big old Suburban that's usually there, isn't it? But I waited too long. I came through here once. He must have a shade that comes down, because he was blacked out. I couldn't see him. So he probably does. He's probably got a sunshade that comes down, but it's like a one-way mirror type of thing. I think I see something rolled up at the top. I thought, man, I'm never going to see him again. Somebody done pasted some, you know, it looks like those, like downstairs, you know, it's got one-way glass. You can't see inside there. It's just mirrored. It's a weird tint, but it's mirrored. Yeah, see, they can sneak around that corner and you can't see them. Almost have to pull in the street to see. I know, you know, Harley's got their own, you know, boxy saddlebags. They actually got several different ones, but they've even got some soft bags too. But I'm just not into them soft bags. I think they look absolutely horrifying, for one, and just such a hassle to get in and out of. And you know, if you know, spend the night in a hotel, you know, getting your all that. Well, hello there, see this guy, you lovely son of a gun. But anyway, I like top loaders, and I like the, you know, the conventional square bags. They're not the best looking, but they're so functional to me. Plus, I'm used to using them. I'm used to. Let's go walk around and see this guy. Sorry, BMW owners. A little BRP slipped out there. 40 years is what I was trying to say. Well, I mean, he's got every aftermarket sticker you could throw on that thing. I like some yellow lights. It does, man, they definitely do stick out. Gotta give them that. There's no metal flakes out of this one. In fact, the oil out of this one pretty much washed the rest of that metal flakes out. Of course, the oil's nice and hot and kind of fluidly flows out. Didn't come from this. I dumped the pan before I put it in this. So the last thing that pan was used on was that GS. Man, please no. But we definitely need to get that oil out into a clean pan to make sure that's not where it's coming from. Yeah, that's, you know, we got Babbitt bearings going out. That's yeah, that's really not good. You know, rod and crank bearings are using those. So I'll ask you guys again, just to make sure, now that I've tossed out a few rather long videos, are you guys okay with that? I mean, I got pretty much an overwhelming response. Yeah, let them fly, you know. Long is fine. Because, you know, I rattled on a whole bunch about this bike and whatever else. You know, so I had quite a bit recorded before I took off on this test ride. So I haven't done any long work videos or work week videos. Holy moly, we got a traffic jam. So I don't know, I'll see how much I can chop this up and make it make sense, make it make sense, make it. Oh, it was the brakes. I thought it was some kid screaming or something. Or some kind of noise from that bus. Old Beamer, old Beamer. Keep looking in that right mirror. Only got the left adjusted. I appreciate you coming along for a ride on the bike that I BS'd about forever, it seemed like. Hey, I can touch the ground real good with the curb sitting there. Dadgum neutrals, I'm telling you. You up and down all over the place. Oh, the Harley's like this. You think that hill hold, or Harley's got their own name for it. You think that thing's going to stay there forever? And I've even heard people say, just as long as you want, it'll stay there. No. The BMWs let go after a amount of time. Yeah, the Harley does too. I was sitting there, I was playing around with my phone on the way home from the shop, and I'm sitting there on a hill facing up, and all of a sudden, phew, I took off backwards. Scared the crap out of me. So yeah, they don't hold infinitely. Remember, I was talking to a gal on the ramp over there, and one of these let go of me. Sits there for a bit, but it will let go. It ain't gonna hold forever. But again, thanks for the rip. Yes, that is the 2013. That's a clean pan. No debris, no nothing under it. Wish her luck. Hope that's not where that came from. We'll find out here directly. I got you out here in the sun. I don't know if I can make this show up on camera, but there's sparkly angel dust in there. All the big chunks I seen this morning, and that was from last week. I just dumped this pan. Yeah, it's full of it. I'm sure that K&N oil filter is probably completely plugged, and it's in bypass mode now. Well, hello there, you two. Got some clouds disguising what little sunset we have left.
Yeah.
It's a 6:38, I think is what it is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably 6:15 or 6:20, somewhere around there. But yeah. I was thinking, man, it's just the saying goodbye outside coming to a quick end.
It is. It's slipping away.
Yeah, and then the rain's kind of switched around. It looks like it's going to rain Tuesday and Friday now. Of course, probably since we've been at work, it's probably changed again. Mm-hmm. Wednesday or whatever it was. I know at one point probably would say 7 days. Now it said 9 days until rain. And all of a sudden it said Wednesday. And I wake up this morning and it said Tuesday. It's like, come on.
I know, I can't make up its mind.
But anyway, kind of a bummer about that GS. Something fatal is going on in there. I'm wondering if it didn't happen first, and maybe the shavings got into that oil level sensor and set that thing off, and they put oil in there trying to make the sensor go away. Don't know, but yeah, something's fatally wrong with it though.
Yeah, good.
That's not good. She's you keep riding it, something's gonna let go. Mm-hmm. Bummer. I was all excited about that thing.
I know.
But such is life in the motorcycle factory.
Yeah.
But on that, we're gonna bounce.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Tuesday or Wednesday.
Heck yeah. Sorry about the dogs.
Annie barking her head off.
Yeah. See you guys in the morning.
See you then.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.